2, 1, get 'em!
This week's episode is brought to you by Salt Creek, some of the best steel and TSS on the market, and Kicks Industries. The Smoke Series is my favorite. Welcome back to this week's YouTube Live and podcast. My name is RD. Welcome to the Waterfowl Den. Man, is it hot outside. Who's tired of this heat? Raise your hand. If I had another hand, I would raise it because it is unreal. I thought this week was going to be cooler. That sucker said, not today. It is hot out there. So hopefully y'all are staying cool, staying hydrated. So whew, the title says fishing in the South in 100-degree weather. So who else has been fishing? Who else has fished in this type of weather? And how do you normally do? My son's been wanting to fish about every day. We fished a couple weeks ago a lot in Florida. We've tried to do a little fishing around here. It's just hot. When it's hot, it is definitely a different scenario of what you're having to do to catch these fish. So, what's the hottest temperature you ever fished in? 100%. It was 2 weeks ago in Florida for me. The humidity was probably what pushed it over to the top. Does fish stop eating when it gets hot? Sometimes. A simple change of where they live and when they feed makes a lot of difference in fishing in the heat. And we're going to talk about it. What does fish do when it gets hot outside? I mean, they just can't jump out of the water and say, you know what, I'm tired of this heat. Now, I have seen on my door camera a couple of bass knocking on the door asking to come swim in our bathtub when the water got so low. Maybe a little touch of air conditioning, but when the water gets still, like stagnated, that nasty looking where they put off warning labels of like, don't swim in this water because the wind, the water, nothing's moving. When it gets hot, that water holds less oxygen as temperatures rise. Fish become less active. I mean, they're about like me, you know. I'm old, I'm kind of a little overweight. Like, I don't want to be active out there in that heat. Do you want to be active in that heat? No, they follow the exact same rules that we have. Bass also follow the groceries. Well, if they're hot, the bait fish are also hot, and they're following the bait fish. So bass are like a bass. I'm all about that bass. Hey, Jay Bird, bass are like us. They're not running a marathon at 2 p.m. when it's 100 degrees outside. So, you know, if you're fishing in this heat, 2 o'clock probably isn't your best time. Morning time and late afternoon. I know Jay's in Georgia. He's burning up right now too. Jay, you ever had great success in the summertime bass fishing? We're talking fishing, mostly bass fishing, but right now they like to be around bridges, boat docks, big timbers, big creek channels, and brush piles. They're not very active in the afternoons. Pretty much you got a small window in the morning time and a small window in the afternoon. That's where you're trying to get them at. Prime time feeding windows, like I said, sunrise. Why? The water is cool. That is the coolest part of the day. Even in the afternoon, it's still blazing hot, and you wanting to capture the cooler part of the day. It usually typically cools off in the afternoon when at nighttime when it's pretty much cool. So afternoon works, but you're looking for more of that morning time coolness. when the oxygen is the highest. About like us, if we, especially me, if I went to Colorado or something like that, where there's less oxygen, I'm going to perform less. I'm built like a Peterbilt, you know, like flat nose, great white Peterbilt school bus. Like I got the aerodynamics of a Volkswagen. I ain't made for the speed. I'm made for the long run. So you know, once you get me up and going, well, it's like a locomotive. Like, okay, maybe I was fixing to do the whoop, but I'm like a locomotive. Bass are the exact same way. When it gets hot, nah. So my buddy just chimed in, and I know he's a big bass fisherman. Bass buzz bait on the points all day. Uh, at daybreak, at dark, cool buzz bait at night. Exactly. Morning, night. And he's a big bass fisherman. Jay's same thing, top water in the dark. So, what are some of the temperatures you ever hunted at, fished at? So, right now it's 100 degrees out. It was like 90, 98 with a heat index of 100 plus. Uh, we had the days off. We want to go fishing, but can you catch something in the middle of the day? Yeah, you can. But the morning and the afternoon is good. Night fishing, just what Jay and Jonas was talking about. Nighttime, one of the best times to night fish is July and August. Well, we're in July. Thank you for the fireworks. Thank you for our patriots. Thank you for the men and women that fought for our July 4th. I greatly appreciate it. I am definitely glad nothing went on during the 4th, and we celebrated our 250th anniversary of being free, minus a few taxes. But what about rainstorms? Now, welcome to the South, especially South Carolina. Georgia's about the same way. You can wake up, it'll be nice and cool, and then the armpit of the South comes out. You will bake yourself to death, and then a pop-up thunderstorm that will never be on the radar instantly pops up, pours down, cools the temperature off, or it jacks the humidity up. But does rainstorms make a difference? Yes. Jones says Carolina rigs in the deep water are on humps midday. So does rain and storms make a difference? Have you ever fished in a storm afterwards? Now I know me and Jones has fished in some storms, and I slightly remember one time we were out there and felt a little tingling, and it was, we probably shouldn't be in this metal boat in this water with fishing rods. You know, that's when we were young and dumb. We're still dumb and we still do dumb stuff. We just no longer young. So when a rainstorm does come, fish often feed aggressively right during there. Why? It's the same reason we hurt as old people with the arthritis. The pressure changes. The same thing that when we wake up when it's 100 degrees and the humidity is high and our hands and joints hurt, is because of that pressure. Well, the fish feel the same pressure because the same pressure is pushing on the water. But when a storm comes, that completely changes the pressure, and it excites biting, increases surface activity, and it increases oxygen because usually it gets 10, 20 degrees cooler, and a lot of times it comes with shade from the clouds. So after a rainstorm, though, you have to take in considerations. And what are them considerations? Muddy water, especially if it's flowing down the Catawba River. Rising water, if you're fishing in a kayak, you might not want to be around the dam, depending on how bad it's raining. Um, Sometimes when you're out on a boat and temperatures drop dramatically and now you're wet, you can, I'm not going to say you can take a chance of hypothermia, but your body does constantly take a shock. So there is a threat of a danger to your body during the temperature changes. Your sugar can crash, stuff like that. But the rain definitely cools it down a little bit. Fish often become more active. I mean, it's just like us. If it was 100 degrees outside and I need to go cut the grass and a late thunderstorm comes and cools it off, yeah, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be more active. Now, this is a topic or a question that I have been wanting to find more about. Now, I know Jonas is in comment, and we've been fishing together a long time. And does or can bass see fishing line? And when I say can they see the fishing line, my buddy brought this up to me last week. Can they see it, and how much does their eyes change due to the temperature of the water? So, do fish actually see the line? And the answer is 100% yes. They can see the line. Do you go with clear? Do you go with green? Do you go with red? Do you go with spider wire, mono wire, whatever other sumo, kumo, molate wire that they come out with? Can they see it? Yeah, they can see it, but not always. Bass have excellent vision. What they do see is movement, contrast, shadows, flash, in different colors. Hence why we give them different worms. You know, if you throw in a worm for 30 minutes and nothing happens, probably continuing to throw that same color probably ain't going to be what you need to do. You need to change colors or lures or whatever. But they're just like us. We like flash. We like, ooh, look, shiny thing, squirrel. That's how I work. But remember, when the fish is not active because it's hot, you have to also change your techniques. If the fish is hot and hugging a shade tree, like us in the summertime, you know, fish would be sitting up under the tree, being like, look, they want a soft drink, like going down the road at 50 miles per hour. Oh, well. But then when a cool cup of lemonade comes real slow in front of us, we're looking at that lemonade and be like, man, mercy, I sure would like to have some lemonade. And it's like, whoo, I can smell that lemonade. You know, ooh, look at that lemonade. I can see the seeds in that lemonade. I think I'm going to go get that lemonade. That's how it is. You have to change your techniques because they are slower. And when they're moving slower and they're just sitting there, well, guess what? They got perfect eyesight. Like here I am, dead focused. But if I'm moving around like this, I'm missing stuff. When I'm not active, my eyesight's better. When I am active, I miss stuff. And that's where you can get them. You can get them when they're active. You know, they're feeding, they're moving. They just go like, oh man, there's something over here, and grab it, and now they hooked. But with the hot water, that changes everything. So hot water often becomes clearer, lower, and calmer. Remember, usually it's hot. There ain't like, especially during the middle of the day. Let's say 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. You just want some wind to blow. It's just hot. It's just calm. Now, right before the storm kicks up, that's a whole different thing, but it's just calm. So that means they have more time to inspect their bait, their lunch. So heavy line becomes easier to detect. Clear lines, nearly invisible underwater, great for, you know, some fish. Green around grasses, algae. Green is real bad on crystal clear waters. Now, we don't really have crystal. That's hard to say. That's a lot of C's. Crystal clear waters around us. But you go up to the upper part of the state of South Carolina, up near Lake, is it Joe something up there? Like you can see your feet in the water, like waist deep. Like it is beautiful, clear water. Like if you're trout fishing up in the mountains of South Carolina, stuff like that, there's clear water up there. It can see that green. Um, but also means you can see it to see where your bait is. So you got to play with it. What I like to do is have a clear green and a red, like that Cajun color. You can see if something ain't working, change it. Just like when you throw your rubber worm in the water over here, you throw it in the water, you're like, dang, I can't see that at all. Or, we look at it. We look in the water and be like, man, that watermelon, boy, that June bug over here, boy, that is a pretty color. If I was a bass, I'd eat that. That's the same thing. If you can't see it in the water, they might not can see it in the water. So just slow it down. Best summertime lures, early morning, top water. Walking baits, buzz baits, poppers, frogs. I've been fishing here lately with a lot of frogs. And oh boy, you bring up the topic of a frog. Oh my gosh. Do you cut the tail off? Let's say the tails of the rubber flies this way. Do you cut it in half? Do you cut it all the way off here? Do you pull it all the way off? If you don't cut it, the bass are going to bite the end and not bite your hook. But then if you cut it, the frog don't walk. Man, you would think talking about a rubber frog that you talking politics. I mean, I kid you not. Go up to a bass fisherman and ask them about a frog and what they think, and then throw out there, hey, I cut mine off, and boy, you're gonna have a fight. I mean, I don't get it. Jones says the vibration is key in muddy water when bass can't see well in bright colors like the chartreuse spinnerbait with a single Colorado blade. Now, there's a lot of guys out there who like to take their buzz baits and hook them to their antenna and break them in. That's an old fishing trick right there. That one ain't gonna cost you a dime. But midday, you want to slow down. That's what I tell my son. Like, son, slow down. You don't want to run out in this heat. They don't want to run out in it. A Texas rig, a jig, Carolina rig, some kind of rig. Slow it down. Make it dance. That's what I like to say. Make that jig dance, make that rubber worm dance. Like put a little beat into it, make it dance, make it work for that bass. Clear water, that green pumpkin, that watermelon, that natural shad, dark water, black and blue, that June bug, that chartreuse that Jonas said, chartreuse. I mean, who come up with that name? Chartreuse. That color, what is that color? It is a pretty color. Um, Reaction baits still work, uh, especially when the wind's going. When the water's chopping, they need a little bit more sound, but changing your techniques. If you're doing something repetitive and it's not working, what makes you think, hey, I want to keep doing it this way? If you're fishing along the bank, and ain't nothing doing, maybe try throwing this way, throw this way, change locations, go to another pond. If you're in a boat, you got that option to move. Now, there's that old wise saying of, if I had a boat, the man standing on the bank is always saying, man, if I had a boat, I'd go fish anywhere I could. I could go anywhere. And the man on the boat is going to fish the banks. It's like we save our money to get a boat so that we can ride around to fish the banks. But when we own the banks, we want to be on the water. Hey, the funny thing is, we still like to fish. But hot water means slow presentations. Make it bounce, make it dance, make it show all its moves off. Low pauses, small movement. Let the fish decide. if fish won't chase it, put the bait right in front of them. Now these days with all this fancy TV screens, and I'm talking about some of these bass masters, they got bigger screens than my podcast room is. They got the live sonar, the whole should it be allowed, shouldn't it be allowed? I don't know. That's a whole nother arguing debate. Should you have live scope? Should you be able to see the fish, see your bait right going right at it? You know, I'm on the fence. If the tournament A says, hey, you can have the live scope, then use it. If you go over here to tournament B and they say no live scope, well, that's it. You know, I kind of like to go back to the days of you get nothing. Like the old, now I know Jonas's old boat had it, the old circle that all you had was to tell you how deep something was. I mean, it just had to, just a little, it looked like a mercury bubble. I know it was LED, but, or light, but it, you know, it was just that circle and it would tell you how deep it was. And if a fish went by, the circle would disappear and then come back. You know, I would love to see bass tournaments like that of, hey, here's you a boat, here's you a dinghy. You get no electronics other than a bilge pump. Go do you. That way you're using what you brought. But I'm not knocking the man who's got electronics. Here I am turkey hunting and duck hunting using Onyx. I mean, I'm using technology. Is it any different? Everybody's got a debate. We all want to talk about something. We all want that upper advantage too. Forward facing sonar, down image, and side image. I mean, these days you can go and find old bridges, tombstones. Like you can 100% say that's a car down there. 100% that's a truck. I mean, like almost could read the tag number. The main thing about fishing right now in this heat, stay hydrated, fish safely, wear sunglasses, sunscreen. Right now is probably the worst time for DNR. There are so many people drowning right now. Around the 4th of July, boating, not wearing a life jacket. I mean, sometimes I don't wear a life jacket on a boat. I can swim, but then you're going to say, well, what if you fall off and hit your head? And then I understand that. I also understand when it's my time to go. I'd rather be, well, you know, he was out there fishing and enjoy life or hunting versus, well, he fell over on the toilet. That's what I don't want to do. I don't want to die on the toilet. Like, give me a story. Like, if I do die on the toilet, dang it, somebody come up with a story. Like, he was sitting on the toilet and then he had to jump up and this big grizzly bear came in through the window with a bald eagle swoop down and he was fighting off, saving his chickens when the eagle poked his head, but he would punch the bear. That's the kind of story I want. You know, I don't want to go out, man, he died on the toilet. If I die fishing, at least I'll be happy. But there's a lot of people that don't know how to swim that says, hey, I'm going to go out in the water. Like, I don't like heights. Heights, not hiking, heights. You know, I told my wife last week, I'm like, you know that guy that climbed the guy and the woman that climbed the Empire State Building that had the mask on? I'm like, when you saw that news, 100%, 1,000, 10,000%, you knew that wasn't your husband up there. Because I don't do hikes. So I know I don't do hikes. So I'm not going to go climb the Empire State Building. If I knew that I couldn't swim, I might would put a life jacket on. You know, but right now is drowning season. A lot of people get playing. There's a lot of I see your comment. I see your comment, and I raise you a comment. You don't either, sir. Let me put that up there. Let me put that on the screen. Look what that joker said. I thought I could put it up on the screen. It didn't come up. I was going to add it. Oh, because it's on Facebook. He's watching from Facebook. He says, you don't like to run either. Amen, brother. You see me running. That means your butt should be running too. Probably because it's either a bomb or a snake. And most likely, it's a snake. But, that's the same thing with the life jackets and the swimming. People that get in the water that don't know how to swim. I don't know anything about good snakes, bad snakes. They're all snakes to me. I'm not gonna go handle the snakes. I wouldn't go to the churches that handle the snakes because I'd be like, you know what? Nah, I'm out. That is not me. You won't do crickets? We'll do crickets, spiders. I ain't even bringing up no ticks. Man, that joker. We have to wait till it rotates to the next camera. But yeah, it's snake. I'm running. I'm running like a little girl. I might be screaming like a little girl. But during this time is now, there's the, look at that. Let's see. You see that? I got a scar where that tick was. Come on, focus. Look at that. That's been over 2 months. That was like March. But wear sunscreen, polarized sunglasses. Now, I may be one of the world's worst sometimes wearing sunglasses. I try to keep them in all my vehicles. Usually, the sunglasses all end up in one vehicle, and I don't know how that is. Usually, we have two trucks and a car, and usually they all end up in the wife's car. Or on the cabinet in the house. But they do help with fishing. It takes the glare off. It will help you in the long run when you get older. Keeping fish in the live wells or on water as much as you can, or releasing them. Now remember, if you're fishing for fish and you have them in a bucket or you throw them on the bank and it's 100 degrees outside, I ain't going to tell you how long you could keep fish out and successfully eat that. Now, if the fish was out most of the day, I'd probably say, no, thank you. I don't want that. But, some people that actually trying to keep them alive, they're trying to do tournaments, they're adding air, oxygen. Sometimes they actually put ice in the live wells with them. That's the same thing trying to keep your bait alive. But handle bass quickly during the heat. Remember, if it's 100 degrees outside, the water don't have oxygen on it, and here you are taking photos and be like, yeah, look at this. Now remember, how they get their oxygen? Water running through their gills. Like, as long as you got them out of the water, they ain't getting no oxygen, and they're already hurting because the water ain't producing the oxygen because it's so hot and thick. Put them back if you're not going to eat them. But wrapping up on the bass topic, it's still a good time to go fishing. Just go early, go late. I mean, now the sun don't go down till like 9 o'clock. So I mean, if you go at 8, go at 8:30. You have 30 minutes. That's about really, honestly, all you really gonna get, unless you fish more in the nighttime. Now, like I said, fishing more at nighttime. What's another thing you got to worry about? Snakes right now. They are out. But fishing at nighttime will get you some success. But notice what the fish are doing between the 85 to 90 degrees, and don't forget or don't be so frustration. Jeez Louise, you could tell this is live. Frustrated to change techniques, change lures, change bait caster to a spinner reel. Slow it down, make it dance, change. You're trying to woo that fish, just like deer hunting, just like duck hunting. You be like, here, ducky, 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 come look at my hens over here. Here, ducky, 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 over here. You're trying to woo them in. Same thing with bass fishing. You trying to get them to take your bait. So just be safe out there. It is 100 degrees. You know, hydrate is the main thing, 100%. So looking at temperatures, man, it's going to be brutal. I'm glad I cut the grass yesterday. I almost could have bailed it. Uh, I almost could have bailed it. It was that hot out there. Um, Get jiggy with it. We ain't doing no Will Smith up in here. No, 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 no. I said I wasn't gonna do it. Wasn't gonna do it. So let's look at some of the forecasts coming up here. Throw the left screen up here. I'm gonna pick the right screen this week. I kind of got my podcast room back here, but if you notice here, July 8th, that is today at 8 p.m. There's a good bit of moisture up in here, but let's look over the next couple of days. That's tomorrow or basically in the morning. Iowa there is going to get some storms, but a lot of moisture in the air. It's that time of the year where pop-up storms are coming. That's July the 11th. Man, July the 11th at 8 p.m. looks like a good bit of moisture for us over in the southeast. A lot of moisture. We still need some more rain. Going through to look like maybe a day or two of just a lot of heat and dryness there. But there's still a little bit of moisture. Looks like that comes back a little bit around the 23rd. Now, a lot of times that's so far out, it could be a day. I speed up a day, slow down a day, but it is what it is. Currently, it's storming pretty good up in Iowa. Let me close that window. See if this one comes up. There we go. So up here in Iowa, Cedar Rapid, there's definitely some pretty bad storms coming up that way. Nashville right now has got some pretty good storms going on. I don't think any of them is going to move into South Carolina. Maybe a little bit of Georgia, maybe by the end of the night. Mississippi down here, they got a good bit going on too. But for the most part, it's good old the dog days of summer. We're almost in them dog days of summer where it's 1,000 degrees and you might as well not even take a shower, because as soon as you take a shower, you're going outside and you're going to get just as wet. Now, another topic that I want to talk about, I'm going to move this over here so I can show it to you. This week, I may have done something. I have to say, I have talked a lot of smack about these before. I don't know. I had to do some apologizing all at the same time. I'm scrolling for the photos. All right. So, with that being said, if y'all know, let me share my screen again. Y'all know that's been the duck truck. That truck right there, me and that truck have gone a lot of places. We've been to Texas twice. We've been to Oklahoma, Reelfoot Lake, Arkansas, Memphis. I don't even know how many trips to the coast. I'm talking about no clue. A lot. A lot of trips to the beach, hunting, a lot of trips to the coast. Been to Georgia, hunting. Like, I'm telling you, I've wore out 2 sets of tires on this truck. It's been a really good truck. It is a V6, and it is a work truck, like work truck model, as in no carpet, no electric door locks, no electric windows, no electric. There's no electric, absolutely nothing. You got power steering and a really cold air condition and heat, but air condition mainly. That is it. That is the only two things you got that is a plus. It's got a V6. Now, most of you know I have a 250. I do have a big four-wheel drive truck. Obviously, that Silverado would not move that camper probably on the cement. Like, it probably would, but it would not be happy. So, I want something more luxurious-ish. I want something a little bit nicer, you know? I'm up till about a month ago, that truck didn't even have no tent on it. As in, like, you would come outside and it would be 1,000 degrees inside that cab. So I got a question. Hey man, what's your opinion on the Winchester SX4? Me personally, I did not like the SX4. Changing topics because somebody asked. He asked. Let's see if I can put that one on there. I can't even pop it up on there. Add to broadcast. There we go. There's the question. Hey man, what's your opinion on the SX4? I was not a fan of the SX4. Now, up till last year, I'm now shooting Retay, so Retay is what I shoot now. But before that, I was shooting a Maxus 2, the exact same gun with some upgrades. One of the upgrades is speed load, which a SX4 and 20 gauge does have a speed load. So you just said SX4, I don't know, 12 or 20. If you do 20, it does have the speed load. 12 gauge does not. The 12 or 20 doesn't have a mid bead. I love a mid bead. Now they gonna say, well, RD, you're not supposed to use a bead with a shotgun. Wing shooters don't use beads. That is true. But when you're setting up for different chokes, different like skeet, when you're setting your shims, that second bead makes a difference. That second bead tells you if they both lined up, you're shooting 50-50. If your bead is like a figure 8, you're shooting like a 70-30. I like the bead. The SX4 also comes in different platforms, like maybe not platforms. Let's say paints. If you're talking SX4, the camo, and you do a lot of marsh saltwater, I would recommend looking at the SX4 in Cerakote. They make it in Cerakote. If I did get one, I had one and it was Cerakoted. That big difference. Cerakote takes a humongous beating and keeps on going. But the Maxus has the bolt and all is like nickel plated, where the SX4 is not. The SX4 doesn't have the cheek where the Maxus does. The SX4 doesn't come with a lot of shims. The Maxus does. You can take the Maxus shims and clip the edges and make them work on the SX4. I'm a big guy. Like, I'm 6'2", 250. I'm 250. My cheeks are fat. I know that. I need forward facing or away facing or right facing buttstock. The shims that come with the X64 doesn't provide that. I need it to cast away. The Maxus has them shims. Now you can easily order them shims and work on the SX4. Them are all my opinions. The mechanism of the gun, the bolt, the gas system, the piston, the things that go boom, exactly the same as a Maxus. Exactly the same. It literally comes down to preference. And you ask my preference, if money wasn't an option, I would say Maxus. Now, I will tell you, there are discontinued models that are brand new on like certain websites that you can find that would probably put you in the same ballpark as a SX4. Now, currently, like I said, I'm shooting for retail. I'm shooting the Nerf guns. My current skeet gun is a SX3, and I love my SX3. Now, you're going to say, well, what's the difference between the 3 and the 4? Receiver, bolt, piston, none of that's different. This is a SX3 Sporting Edition. The Sporting Edition came with porta barrels, longer chokes. The buttstock is wood, and it has the built-in adjustable cheek pad. Like, it's a fully adjustable. You don't even have to take the shims out. Like, it's wood. You can adjust the rise, the cast, all that from the buttstock. Like, it's made for sporting, and it has the weight on the end. Now, with that being said, that is my favorite sporting shotgun. I love my SX3. Probably wouldn't take anything for it. With that being said, I am shooting for Retail. Retail is fixing to release their new Ace and Ace R Sporting Edition shotguns. They look just like the Breedas. Breeda's been around. Breeda is their parent company. It's going to come in a 30-inch barrel. It's going to be ported. It's going to be inertia. Is inertia better than gas? Yes, gas usually has less kick than inertia, but inertia is a lot cleaner because all the gas, all the junk goes out the barrel where gas uses that to cycle. But with the retays, that new airy pad takes a lot of recoil out. So I can't wait to get my sporting Ace in. It's going to be a raised rib. I can't wait. I don't have it. I can't speak from it. I ain't never held it. I ain't never shot it. Can't really tell you. But I've shot pretty much every brand out there, and they all have something that I like, something that I don't like. It's just like an iPhone. You know, I was an Android kind of guy. Then I got an iPhone. It's like, man, kind of like some of these features, but I kind of like some of these over here with the Android. You know, if they ever came together and made a baby, it'd be an awesome phone. Same way with guns. What fits you probably ain't going to fit me. You need to go hold them. You need to go feel them. You need to go lay hands on them. What do you like? Do you want something a little bit heavier? Do you want something lighter? You know, I'm getting a little bit older. I want a little less kick. Is the 28 gauge? Is it 20? Everything is different for every person. And I promise you, I don't know how tall you are, but like I said, I'm 6'2". If you came and held one of my shotguns, it ain't gonna fit you. It's just like my buddy Jonas. He is definitely shorter than me, but you know, I'm prettier than he is. I don't know if he's still listening, but just let me tell you, I'm a whole lot prettier than he is because he's older. He's a lot older than me. And we're gonna see if he's paying attention. But anyway, if I gave him my shotgun, he's gonna miss because he's going to be trying to reach and grab a trigger that's not made for him. Same way with me. He was watching. If I took his gun, it would feel like a child's gun. It's going to feel like I'm riding a moped. Go feel and put your arms around him. So he says, 3 days older. You more than 3 days older, sir. You almost a little bit under a month. Just a little bit. But you're still older. I mean, as long as I'm alive, you're still older. I mean, and I'm still prettier. I'm just so you say you have another question, and in that case, what's your opinion on the Super Black Eagle 12 gauge non-AI version? Yeah, I haven't never shot the AI version. For the most part, all my friends are broke, and nobody's got that AI version. Now, what I will say with the AA, I'm going to rehab. I shoot AA shells. With the Super Black Eagle AI, that is long forcing cone. I don't even know why they added it AI, because modern technology with AI, we think computers. But what I will say, and this is not, I'm not saying retail all the way, just look at it. My opinion with the Super Black Eagle, this is just my opinion. Super Black Eagles, the Stoeger Frenchies, the Browning A5, all are inertia bolt. They all have the old bolt technology. And I have shot all of them. Probably got all of them except the Frenchies. And I know people's going to get mad with me saying them Frenchies because they're not Frenchies. But they're Frenchies. You know, they're Frenchies. They have the bolt. If you drop them, if you bounce them, that bolt can rotate and you will get a click. I've had it in my Stoeger. I had it in my Super Black Eagle 1. Never on the 2. And I ain't never on the 3, but it's got the same bolt. If any kind of bounce makes that head rotate, you're going to get that click. That is a safety feature. If the head isn't in battery, means locked, it's going to click. I've had it mostly because my friends would either come up and, especially in the blind, when you hunt with like 8 guys and somebody knows you have a inertia gun, they will come and pull it down just a little bit to make that head rotate. So when you pull up, it's going to go click. Now the retays from the factory, again, go put your hands on them. They may not fit you. I'm just saying 2 facts. It has the inertia plus bolt. I got plenty of videos on the bolt. No matter how softly you open that bolt, it will always lock back. It has a secondary spring that would make that head lock into battery. And secondly, the forcing cone on all retays, new, we're not talking old and they're not talking pumps, I'm talking new. Ace R, I think the Gordians and the Meyer Mars, yes. I ain't even shot none down. But they all have factory forcing cones, like from the factory. Now, does it matter? I don't know. It's a topic of discussion. I can say that if you take a shell and you make it come out of a barrel and instantly put it at a 45, that wad changes, the pressure changes, a lot of things change when it hits that 45 degree. What do most guns people modify them? Long forcing cone. They take that 45 degree and they spread it out so that pressure and all just stays smooth. It makes a difference in the patterns. That's pretty much what the AI does, minus a couple more features on that. But does all Super Black Eagles have the forcing cone? I think there's different models. Again, I do know the retays had the new bolt. Again, might not feel the way you want to feel it, might not fit right to you. I would at least go check out that lock and bolt technology. You don't believe me? Bounce it on the, I was fixing to say ground, but don't bounce a brand new somebody else's on the ground. Maybe bounce it on your hand. You will see that bolt open and you'll see what I'm talking about. Would you buy a retail before a Super Black Eagle 3? Again, I've never shot a 3, but I can promise you I would have the exact same problem with a Super Black Eagle 3 that I do with a retail. Browning, every single one. It doesn't matter. I was talking about it earlier. What fits me don't fit you. A Super Black Eagle and a retail both use the, what is that called? Come on, bring it together here. Is it conform fitting buttstock. I can't think of the name. That might not be the name. Whatever the end where the rubber goes, it has a name. I think it's conform fit. That's what it feels like in my head, along with all the other things that keep telling me to talk about the night before I get off the podcast. But they don't come with spacers, shims. That gun is 14 3/4. I did a whole video on it. Super Black Eagles also. They are made, every shotgun is made for the average man. I am not average. I am tall. I am fat, got fat cheek. I need longer length of pull. Most of my guns are 15 1/4 to 15 1/2, depending on what I'm doing. Summertime, shooting skeet, I need more because I don't have nothing but a t-shirt on. Excuse me, got choked up. In the wintertime, I have jacket on, but I still need that 15 inches plus length of pull. Super Black Eagle, you got to get adapters and spacers. Same thing with Retay. They're new. I think it's conform. I really don't want to start searching for it. But I have a video that I already recorded. I haven't edited it yet because YouTube was in YouTube jail. But I've met up with a guy who is in South Carolina who is making spacers for the Super Black Eagles. Confront, yeah, that's correct, Jay. I thought I was right. I thought it was Comfort Tech. I was saying conform. Comfort Tech, yes. So he's making spacers, 3D spacers that can work on Super Black Eagle and Retay. They're not the same. They use the same, but the height isn't the same. They're not interchangeable, but he has came out with them 3D printed. I'm gonna have the whole website that is coming, and I wish I could show it to you, but I can't. I mean, they're right there. I can see them, but I can't show it because you can't show things on a live. But over there is spacers for Super Black Eagles and Retays. Again, what would I do? I don't know. I never bought a Super Black Eagle 3. I have an original H&K, but it has the locking. It doesn't have the locking bolt where the Retay does. Does the Retay? It's a tough decision, man. If you are a Ford guy, you ain't gonna like Chevrolets. If you're a Chevrolet guy, you ain't gonna like a Dodge. Best advice I would ever give you: don't go in thinking, hey, I'm gonna go change. I'm gonna go do this. Because I can tell you two things with the Retays. If you do go look at the Retays, two things: Retay Ace and the Ace R. Again, I don't know how big you are. If you're a big, like I got big shoulders, 48 regular, like I'm a pretty big guy. The Ace R is a mid hump. The guys that got big necks, big shoulders, broad shoulders, the Ace R with the hump gets up in your face. It is right there where you want to be shooting. The Ace is a rounded receiver, kind of like the Maxes, the Super SX4s, the traditional Remingtons. It's rounded. The Ace is round. That is typically more for the skinnier guys, the standard guy. So I say go put your hands on all of them. What feels better to you? So let me catch back up on the chat here. I had the click happen many times. Rabbit hunt with my 20 gauge monofeltro. Yes. Lost a lot of game with that. Yes. I've done it by accident, and I've done it when I had my Stoker and in the blind with the guys. Like they would come by and barely do it so that when I pulled up, you would get that click and they would shoot first and then start laughing, or just take the whole shell out. Now I may in my former bad boy days, I might have done that in retaliation also. And, you know, I repented of that. And I might do it again if you out shooting me. I might take your shell. I might take your shell and shoot your shell. Unless you're shooting steel. I'm not shooting your steel. But John says I know 5 fat guys. 4 of them. That ain't funny. I have a Super Black Eagle 3 and never patterned it, but I've heard they shoot high. I never had a problem with it. Okay. So the retails will also be like the Super Black Eagles. When people say they shoot high, they were intended to shoot high. If you shoot overseas in like Europe, that's how they shoot. They shoot like 80-20. And that's where that mid bead I was talking about earlier. They want 80% of their pellets above and 20% down here. They want their point of aim to shoot high. I like when I'm shooting waterfowl. Now, skeet shooting, I do want it'll a 60-40. But because the discs are small, waterfowl, I typically like 50-50. I want that bird in the end of my barrel to be right here. I want to be on the bird and pull off and pull. With a 70-30 or 80-40, 80-40, I can't even do math. 80-20, what's going to happen is you're going to see the bird and you're going to do the same thing, get to the nose, pull off, and then pull the trigger, but you're going to be below it. One thing about a 80-20, you will always keep that maintaining height and you can see the bird. If you're doing 50-50 and the bird is not at 50 yards, let's just say 20 yards, your lead ain't going to be much. And if the bird is crossing right to left, you could lose the bird in your vision at 50-50. That's hence why they shoot high, so that when a crossing bird or pigeon or clay pigeon is always going to be on the top. That is why you see a trap gun, a person who truly shoots trap, their rib is massive. They want that rib higher. It is shooting point of aim lower, but it shoots high, kind of like the Super Black Eagles and the retail. Hence, exactly, Jay Bird. It's called floating the bird, floating the pigeon, floating. Exactly. It's all about how you like it. Now, you get the shim kits with the retails. I don't know about Super Black Eagle 3. I ain't there. Like I said, I don't own it. I do own one. But you can shim them down. If you don't like that 80-20, you can shim it down. 75, 70-30, or you could do the 50-50. You just got to shim it. What I found, set them all up the same. Again, that comes down to, don't go use your buddy's shotgun. Hey, I'll bring you one. You can just shoot it. You're probably going to miss because you're going to leave behind it or overshoot it because it's not the same. I will tell you this, it's just like if you were a Chevy guy and you're a Ford guy. If you were a Chevy, all your chokes are going to fit Chevys. If they're Fords, they're all going to, I mean, like it's like the wheels. You know, Chevy wheels hardly ever fit a Ford, and a Ford don't fit a Chevy. Retail chokes are the same as the Super Black Eagle 3. Winchester, Max's, the same. It's kind of like that, you know. What do you have more chokes of? That's chokes ain't cheap. It ain't like, hey, I'm just gonna go get another choke. I mean, you're talking some money. Do you stay with this type choke, or do you go this route? Thomas, you know, I can't tell you because what works for me isn't gonna work for you. But what I could tell you, go spend time at the stores. Put them in your hand. Yep, Jay said the same thing. Designed for European shooting. What they do over there in European stuff is a whole different stuff. Usually whatever goes on over there, they bring it over here eventually. in guns. Um, I don't know. Maybe we're different. Maybe they're different. Who knows? Jonas, I'm on here with the fishing comments. Hey Jeff, glad to have you back, man. I hope you get some rain out there soon. It looks like y'all gonna get some. It has been a while. Um, Man, I'm glad to have you back. But where I was before I got sidetracked, it's kind of like that bass. I'm fat and I was lingering over here and I didn't want to get pulled off. Say, look, another squirrel mama. Easy. Like, I love the comments. I can handle going back and forth. I usually get Carlson as extended chokes. Carlson makes good chokes. I shoot kicks chokes. Um, Jay, this commenting, had become good friends. We got hooked up with Jake. Jake is a real good friend. I shoot kicks chokes. Carlson, kicks, all the big names. Now I will tell you, the factory ones that come in there, measure them. Measure your buddies. Measure the other one beside, and ain't none of them gonna be the same. At least with big name chokes, the accuracy of consistent measurement is there. Carlson makes good chokes. Keek makes good chokes. Keek, right there, the smoke series. I love the smoke series. Favorite. I love that shiny stainless. Which is annoying because I have a SX4 and a Benelli as two shooting guns. Plus, I had to buy a Creo Plus and a Vector Plus. Yep, that's the thing. You talking? You got this Chevy over here, and you can't put your Fords, and then now you going, buddy. Trust me, I understand the struggles, but I got I got a few chokes because I seen a few chokes. But I can tell you one choke that I don't like. I do not like the DS series. I am not a fan. I got a newer model A5, the big. Do not like the DS chokes at all. Now they supposed to be the greatest, best thing. Supposed to have the extra seal. I can say that this remote right here is supposed to be the latest, greatest. That don't mean anything. I don't like the DS chokes. But Jeff said he's a True Lock guy. Great choke also. Exactly, Jay. Find what works for you. Now, talking chokes. Chokes is just like Chevrolets and Fords. I got a Ford Super Duty. Jay's got a Ford Super Duty. I'm gonna say, Jay, my 6.7's better than your 6.0. Now I think Jay might have a 6.7. But it might be a 6.0. And he's gonna be like, no, my 6.0 is better because mine ain't gonna have a C4 problem. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, your studs. It's the same thing with chokes. Some's got porting on the inside, some's got water strippers. They have absolutely different jobs. You got turkey chokes, you got waterfowl chokes, you got extended chokes, you got extended ported chokes, you got extended, non-ported. They all do different things. They all make that wad act different. Know your chokes. It's all about what do you want that wad to do. Do you want it to strip faster? Um, some companies, the ports are backwards to rip that wad open to get that pellets out when shooting skeet. Or if you're shooting waterfowl, you don't want all your skeet your pellets right here in front of you. You want them down there. Maybe if I am shooting sea ducks, I don't want a ported choke. I need that 40 and 50 yards. I want a extended flush. What's that going to do? That's not going to get any back pressure to suck that wad open. Now, is that blowing smoke? Is it supposed to help on recoil? I don't know. I am not an engineer. I am the only engineer that I am is a zip tie engineer. Zip tie and duct tape, sir, I could put anything back together. Jay said he's not a fan of the ported ones, ear ringers. That is true. In certain blinds, some people do not like ported chokes because of the ports, the angles of the ports, it changes the pressure. And like I said, there are many, many different ports. You got square ports, you got flat ports, you got ports going this way, you got ports coming this way. They make different noises. Everybody's got their thing. Chokes is a whole nother thing. We could talk about chokes till the cows come home. And the way beef prices is, I'm not going to tell nobody when the cow comes home. So Jones says duct tape pro. Yeah. Yeah, we grew up poor. We grew up poor, and talking about how poor we are, that's how poor we are. This is what I was talking about earlier. This truck right here that I just retired. This how poor we are is, you know, you don't know if when you drive an old truck, you don't know if you're gonna make it to town and back. That's what we are. That's how we are duct tie and zip tie mechanic, because you might not make it back to town. But I have retired the duck truck. I got a new duck truck. And this is what I was saying earlier. So I didn't mean to repeat the sound there. I will say that I still got my man card. I still have my Ford F-250 Super Duty crew cab 6.7 truck. It did not go anywhere. I only replaced the white truck. And when I say that, I'm having to apologize to some people. And you're going to be like, why are you having to apologize? Like, come on, RD, what are you talking about? Well, I got something new, okay? And some people's it's going to be controversial. I know. Trust me, I already heard it. And I was that person also. Well, let me just show you. I still have my F-250, 4-wheel drive, 6.7, Super Duty. I still got it. Big truck, manly truck, big tires. Big tires. I got a Honda, y'all. Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, don't criticize me. Don't say it's not a truck. It is a truck. It has a bed. Shut up, Jonas. It's a truck. Now, I went from an extended cab. I did a whole video tonight on that, and I will be putting it together. I measured the bed of the Honda versus the Silverado. If you have a Silverado with the toolbox, big toolbox, they have the exact same bed. They take toolbox out, and that's a whole different thing. Now, my Super Duty has the short bed on there. If you know Super Duties, you got like the short bed, like short bed, and then like the normal bed, and then you got long bed. Mine's the short bed. So my toolbox on my Super Duty, like your fender, like that's where the toolbox is. That's how short my F-250 is. But hear me out. Fully loaded, leather seats, sunroof, crew cab. Like I went from this extended cab where, and I show in the video where I can't even ride in the back seat of the extended cab. I got room in this. Like I said, now we could do road trips, and mostly we do kayaks. This Honda has a towing capacity of 5,000 pounds. My Silverado is 45. Now, the Silverado is a V6 that I think it was like 195 horsepower. The Honda's a V6. It's got like 250, something like that. But hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not done yet. I'm trying to sell y'all on this. The Silverado was a V6 two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive Honda. So a lot of the times when I go turkey hunting and fishing, I have to decide what I'm going to take because I might need four-wheel drive, and that pretty much peg leg V6 doesn't have the horsepower to get me out, especially running like a little dog. I need the four-wheel drive. Did I say it was fully loaded, like heated seats? Like, I ain't gonna lie. Now, on the camper shell, I'm not 100% sold on the camper shell yet. But in the trunk, this truck has a trunk. Now, my mama has a Honda Pilot, and I see she comments and says, it's like your mom is a pilot. Yeah, I do too, Jeff. White, you can go months of dirty vehicles before it starts showing dirt. But I already got some graphic designs too. But with that being said, four-wheel drive now, I can go on these hunting trips. We can put stuff in the back with the cover, air condition, rear air condition. We got cup holders now. Like, this trunk that's up under the bed is massive. 100% upgrade over the Silverado. Is it a truck? It is a truck. It's probably no different than the S10s that I've had in my life. I've had 3 S10s and a Ford Ranger. Exactly the same. But you're riding in comfort. It is literally like a Honda Pilot that has a bed. I mean, it has the same room that my mother's Pilot has, but it's four-wheel drive and it's got a bed. Now, with it being four-wheel drive, it is all-wheel drive. So it's technically 70-30 with like a slip transmission style. So it's all-wheel drive. But when you need four-wheel drive, if you put it in reverse and push the button, or put it in D1 and push the button, it has auto lockers and it will lock you in. Plus, the rear suspension is rear independent suspension versus straight axle of the Silverado. So, with that being said, y'all talk your junk. It ain't a man's truck. I still got my F250, and my F250 tune will roll some coal. That's all I got to say. But your boy's riding in style a little bit more going to the duck hole this year. I'm just saying, fishing, I'm riding in heated seats, leather. Now, it's 100 degrees outside. I don't need no heated seats. But the sound system is amazing. I mean, it's loaded. I got electric windows now, electric door locks. Like, we went from a lot. And to be fair, so did my F250. My F250 had leather, air conditioning, power. It's fully loaded. But I am trying to keep the mileage off the 250. I definitely don't like paying that extra dollar per gallon. And plus, I wasn't replacing, I didn't get this Honda to replace the 250. It would never pull that camper. It would never pull. It just replaced the white truck. So with that being said, I have some graphics. They're not totally in the works yet. I mean, they're kind of in the works. But now this is just Chat GPT. So y'all tell me what you think. Go big or go home. That's all I can say. Tell me what you think. What do you think? That's pretty bad. I ain't even gonna lie. If we pull them graphics off, that's my friend who makes stickers. He said, "Dang it, boy. You wanted a little spicy, didn't you?" Absolutely. I wanted it to be like that little girl in that commercial. Why is it so spicy? That's what that is. That's just one version. I have another one here. So let me pull it up. That's pretty bad. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of like that. And then here's the other version. I kind of like it too now. I'm not even gonna lie. All right, here's this version. Y'all tell me what y'all think. That's pretty legit. Now I know the QR code is a little jacked up because that's just ChatGPT. It's just playing around. I like that. I'm not gonna lie. I do like the duck on the other one. Definitely, it would not go up to the window. It definitely would not go to the window. It would be below the window. But I really like this one too. Like my boykin in there. Like, I mean, come on. That changes the way that truck looks. I mean, that looks like a rolling billboard. Y'all tell me which one y'all like. The other one or this one right here, because I like that green, like camo. Oh, shut up, Jonas. Where's my ban button? I can't ban you. I can from YouTube. Join on YouTube and I'll ban you. That's one of our sponsors talking junk like that. Do you see that? He has an ad that runs at the end talking like that. You know, I apologize. I have to respect my elders. That's right, Jonas. I apologize. You are my elder. Jonas says drive it off a cliff and it will look good. At least this one could get me to the daggone cliff. My Silverado 2-wheel drive can't even get me to the cliff. Jeff said he likes the first one. We shall see. I'm going to talk to my buddy this week. Jay Bird likes the second one. Yeah, it is definitely going to be probably something like that. I don't know. That's just throwing it around ChatGPT. But my buddy here, this is who. Give him a plug real quick. That's my buddy. He does a lot of race cars. I know it's kind of like blown up there, woo, real big. But Star Graphics in Lancaster. He's the one that does all my stickers. He's done the other truck and all the stickers on my shotguns and stuff. So he will be doing them. We're gonna take some measurements. It's gonna be played around. This was an idea too. This is kind of like this is the way it started. This was basically like my other truck. Like it is crazy how ChatGPT can take that and it even threw Silverado down at the bottom. Like if you look closely enough, it added a camper shell to like a crew cab Silverado, but I don't know. That doesn't even say Silverado. That's like I can't zoom on that. That's like Silverado. It's like got two O's and two S's. But I kind of like the red and the black too. This is like my normal logo. But it's gonna come out looking like one of them. Uh, I used to do a lot of stickers, a lot of vinyl, bottomland camo. Yeah. I'm kind of fond to Max 5, but um, this is one thing that I had, I said it was a truck, and my mama tried to argue with me about 50 million living times. Is it going to fit? It fits a trash can easily in this truck. That's all I do in the truck. That's all I do in my work truck. I take the trash off. I go fishing. I might haul a little bit, but I really drive it back and forth to work. And I only work like 10 minutes. So my 250 in the wintertime, I can't even take the 250 because I can't even get there's no heat because the truck doesn't stay running long enough to get heat. See you, Jay. You be good. We fixing to get off here too, but the 250 doesn't get warm in the wintertime. And two, that 250 takes 16 quarts of oil. It takes a lot of time for that 6.7 to I'm finishing what I'm saying before I read that. Sir, I hope you stump your toe tonight. But that 6.7's got 13 quarts of oil. It takes a lot of time to get that oil warm. And being diesel and turbo, you don't want cold oil to sit in your turbo. That's where you get clumps and lumps, and it's not good for the turbo. So that is the main reason why I drive that white truck. And plus, It's just a beat around truck. So that's what it is. And he said, and I hope you stump your toe tonight. This is what he said. Oh man, my rolling dumpster will it's gonna get good gas mileage, dang it, with my leather seats. I know that old square body you got, it ain't got leather seats. Man, it's hard to get good friends around here, you know? Man. All right, well, we've been on here an hour and I don't even know, hour and 20 minutes. But I know the main topic was fishing, and we got sidetracked. It's hot. My mama asked me last weekend, she said, son, what you doing Saturday? Staying in the air condition. What you doing on the 4th? Staying in the air condition. What you doing on Sunday? Going to church. Staying in the air condition. What's my weekend this weekend looking like? Staying in the air condition. So I ain't gonna be like that bass. Man, look at that gray in my eyebrows. It looks like I got mascara on. I don't. That's how much quality better this new camera is. But Jeff, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a while. Glad to have you back. But I hope everybody had a good night. Like I said, we're gonna be stickering up the new Honda Super Honda. Hey, you know they make a lift kit for that truck? They make a 3-inch lift kit so you can run like 35s on that Honda. Nah, I'm running street tires. I got one truck that's got big mud tires on them, and it hurt when I bought them 35s. Like I almost backed out on the 35s because of the price of the mud tires. It has Michelin on it. That's the kind of truck it is. Michelin's. It might be the only time that it has Michelin's on it because I ain't putting Michelin's back on it. But all right, until next Wednesday, I hope y'all have a good, safe week. Stay hydrated. Check on a lot of people. If you see old people out there, try to help them because with this nastiness of ozone, whatever, it's just ugh. That's all I can say is ugh. But I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I'm going to close with some prayer tonight. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for all you do for us. Thank you for letting us celebrate 250 years. Thank you for letting us celebrate with our families. Thank you for the men and women who fought for our freedoms over the years, over them 250 years. There are so many people gave the ultimate sacrifice for me to be free, me to be free to have this podcast, me to be free to say what I want to say, me to be free to say this Honda is a new truck, and it is a truck. I have that freedom only because people fought for my freedom. And I so thank you for everything that you do for us. Protect our military, protect our troops, protect their families. There's so many people right now fighting over in Iran. Keep their family safe. Let them not have to worry about their family while they're over there fighting to keep wars off of our land. Be with them. Bring them back home safely. Be with the people that's having to work out in this heat right now. There are so many people that have to work in this heat. So many like DOT, people paving, people shingling. That's how they're providing for their family. Give them shade. Keep them hydrated. Keep them safe. Bring them home. And thank you so much for sending your son to die on a cross for something that I can never achieve. And thank you for giving us the outdoors so we can spend time in what you made. And thank you for everything you do. Be with the people on the prayer list and the sick people. In Jesus' name, amen. So y'all be safe. I'll see y'all next Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Does it run on fairy dust? Sir, it runs. My Honda runs on dinosaur poop. You get that right. And I'll see y'all next week. Here's a word from our sponsors. One of our sponsors that has fairy dust in his toolbox. I know, I seen it there. I put it there.
Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC, has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service LLC prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge Hauling Service LLC.